a couple of announcements. I just want to remind everybody that starting this Thursday, Let's Levy is going to be starting through the month of October, every Thursday night, starting at 4 o'clock, and sounds like it's going to be a really neat event. And I looked at the weather. The weather's supposed to be good Thursday too, so cool, but there'll be some small fires, I think, down there to keep warm, so come on down. There'll be food trucks and music and all kinds of good stuff. I also want to announce that I'm appointing the following individuals to the Transit Advisory Committee, which is being established to review routes, ridership, and operations, as well as discuss options for possible expansion of our transit system. They will meet quarterly, and their first meeting will be held on October 23rd. The following individuals: Andrea Moe Smith, Denise Mateka, Margaret Schild, Chris Chios, Dan Mateka, Emily Karash, Barry McGrath, Karen Siebenaller, Judy Bodway, Hans Madlin, Jim Wagner, and Kirk Dibb will have all agreed to serve. So thank you for your service on that committee. And I just want to mention, I left a study that was done a couple of years ago by each council member's place. It seemed timely after our tour tonight of the Masonic Temple to be reminded that nearly $5 million a year in total economic impact comes from the arts and culture in the city of Winona. That's all I have. City Manager?
Thank you, Your Honor. Just want to thank Chad for serving as tour guide earlier this evening at the Masonic Project, and wanted to invite Luke to make a quick presentation on the award that the city received from the American Planning Association.
Mayor and Council, just an update on how well spent your money was last year. Last year we completed the Complete Streets Policy and Pedestrian and Bicycle Plan for the City of Winona, which was updating some planning that was done back in the 1970s for the city. And for our recognition, the American Planning Association Upper Midwestern Conference did award us the Planning and Context Award for this last year's work. The scoring was based largely upon making sure that we did appropriate outreach to the community, which we had substantial outreach, as well as focusing on the idiosyncrasies and the nuances to the individual planning for a community. In our case, the large student population, as well as the continued growth of our population as they continue to age, and the shifting demographics which many communities continue to experience. The Planning Association did have the scoring done by other neighboring states' American Planning Association chapters, so in our case, I believe it was Wisconsin and Iowa that did this. We are still being scored by the Complete Streets Coalition, which is under the Complete Streets Coalition of scoring underneath the National Complete Streets Coalition. And so we're looking forward to being part of their 2018 report. But so far, so good, and hopefully we get some things implemented in the coming years.
Cool. Nice job. Nice job.
Thank you, Luke.
Well done. That's all. Thank you.
That's it. Okay, roll call.
Mayor Peterson.
Here.
Councilman Thurley.
Here.
Craig.
Here.
Alexander. Here. Iden. Here. Borzakowski.
Here.
Schulmeyer.
Here.
Under the petitions, requests, and communications, item 3.1 is appointments to the Planning Commission of Brad Ballard, Brian Bulow, and Laverne Olson.
Move to approve those appointments.
Second. Motion by Michelle, seconded by Jerry. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Item 3.2 is appointments to the Fine Arts Commission of Roger Boulay and Jerry Goodwin.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jerry and seconded by Michelle. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Item 5.3, reappointment to the Winona Housing and Redevelopment Authority of Rachel J. Smith.
Move to approve that appointment.
Motion by George and seconded by Jerry. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Item 3.4 is a reappointment to the Merit Board of Paula Brown.
Move to approve that appointment. Second.
Motion by Michelle and seconded by Pam. Discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Item 3.5, reappointments to the Citizens Environmental Quality Committee of Hans Madlin and Lynette Power.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Paul and seconded by Pam. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Item 3.6 is a temporary wine and malt liquor licenses for Habitat for Humanity for 4 concerts to be held at St. Cecilia Theater on November 3rd, December 8th, January 26th, and March 9th. And I believe Amanda Hedlund is here from Habitat for Humanity.
I'd move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Michelle, and seconded by Jerry. Any discussion?
Can we hear a little bit from Amanda about what the plan is?
Or
Or Mike?
Mike, maybe?
Either?
Both?
Your
Right here.
Thank you for inviting our comments. Mike from Hurryback Productions and I have agreed to collaborate on 4 of the concerts, and that would involve Habitat for Humanity providing a temporary liquor license so that we can be a part of the concession sales at the event.
Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Item 3.7 is a temporary wine and malt liquor licenses for the Great River Shakespeare Festival for 2 concerts to be used at St. Cecilia Theater at Cotter on December 1st and February 9th.
Move to approve approval of the license.
Or second.
Motion by George, seconded by Michelle.
Our agenda,
December 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
says-
it should be December 1st.
it
That's
should
the
be
typo.
December, okay, thank you.
The other group is doing December 8th.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Item 3.8 is a request for use of Levy Park by the Winona County Wellness Committee for a walk on Tuesday, October 16th.
Move to approve.
Second that.
Motion by Michelle, and seconded by Pam. Discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Item 3.9 is the Winona State University Homecoming Parade request for no parking on Mark Street between Huff and Harriet on Saturday, October 6th.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion by Jerry and seconded by Paul. Discussion?
Maybe a little background on this.
Okay.
This is what came out of that meeting we were at, is that not?
That's correct.
A number of years ago, President Scott Olson at WSU and the city started having pre-homecoming meetings so we can handle public safety, traffic, and et cetera. And then after homecoming, we also have another meeting to kind of recap, so then we don't have a knee-jerk a week before, a week after, then what we're going to do and forget about it. Meetings have been very successful, and we've been seeing things being handled much, much better. Councilwoman Iden, myself, city manager, the mayor, and a large contingent of law enforcement were all in attendance. It was the city manager's personal security detail, it looked like, the usher of men. There was probably 40 people in attendance. The meeting was run by President Scott Olson, and a lot of good came out of it. And one of the things we talked about, due to some construction or things that are going on over there, the parade has to turn west at the end of this year rather than turning east, because you cannot have a parade go over the tracks. If you do, you're asking for some serious issues. So with the police that were there, they were concerned about, that's the second busiest area for the parade is that corner. So that's why for temporary, just for that period of time, we're going to be doing this. So if anybody wonders, it's just for pedestrian safety. It'll be a little bit of a inconvenience to those people during that day, but for 3 hours or whatever it is of inconvenience, if it keeps one person from getting run over by a float, it's going to be well worth it. So that's what the deal is.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. Anything else? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Item 3.10 is the Anthem Skate Park request.
I'd move to approve the attached agreement.
Second.
Motion by Michelle and seconded by George. Discussion? Al?
I was looking over the agreement, and it does refer to an insurance payment. I thought that was one of the issues that we had talked about earlier in the request from Anthem, so I'm wondering how that has been addressed. I mean, I'm seeing things that say that they are responsible for those insurance payments, but maybe I'm just reading the agreement wrong, or was that part of the negotiations?
Mayor and Council, there is still an insurance payment that Mr. Craig will be making for the park. So he will be, he'll be taking care of the retail store side of it. So listed in the amended agreement, Mr. Craig is responsible to provide insurance for everything retail store. So specifically, that's employer's liability insurance, commercial general liability, comprehensive automobile liability, and excess liability.
And workman's comp, or work person's comp?
Yes.
So I thought I read it anyway. Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. I'll let you read the letter.
And under new business, item 5.1 is the community forest grant.
I make a motion to approve applying for the grant and support the project.
Second.
Motion by Michelle and seconded by Paul. Discussion? Al?
George, you
Oh,
want to
just if
answer
John
those?
wants to speak on this,
I have probably some questions anyway.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. This project would largely replace ash trees that have been lost and also work on removing some invasive species, primarily on the West Lake. So we've won grant funds for the East Lake, and this would help work on the West Lake, which has not, isn't as large of a natural area and hasn't lost as many trees, doesn't have as many trees, but to work on that area as well. And this would be really a pretty quick grant, wrapping up by May 1st, largely using volunteer labor to do the tree planting. So it would be kind of analogous to the NFL grant that we had about a year and a half ago, where we had volunteers mostly plant trees. So it'd be like that, plus some invasive species removal.
Al?
Yeah, I think this is a good program. I'll support it. I just need some clarification. The agenda item says that, the second paragraph, it says, under the grant RFP, the project requires at 25% match, half of which can be met half by in-kind contributions. Can you explain that?
So there's a typo there. There's the second half is on this, is
Oh.
extra. So basically, the city has to provide a 25% match, and of that match, half of that has to be cash. And so, as the way it's written, we probably provide about a 20% in-kind plus a 12.5%
I mean,
cash match.
yeah, you've got a total cash outlay of $77.50, and your grant is for $64.66.25, so that's, how do you explain that?
The 66,
If requesting grant funds, fund amount requested $64.66.25. It's in the DNR request.
yes, there is some, I guess there is a slight, more of a rounding error than anything. So if you add that 968.75
Okay.
plus the 6,466, we have to put all the funds up, but we get reimbursed for
Okay.
all for that 66,466 and 25 cents.
Okay, there's always details, right?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Pam?
Yes, I would be interested to know, do you have a list of the trees that you're going to plant? What kinds of trees are going to be planted?
There's not been a list established yet. We would be working largely in line with the pollinator resolution, so trying to get trees that have some pollinator value. Those farmers resolution passed about 2 years ago. When we put new trees in, to put in species that benefit pollinators. I think for this, there are certain requirements of planting native trees because it's a DNR project.
Good, okay.
We will have that together prior to going to the planting. And part of it is also availability. We won't know what's available at nurseries probably until
Sure, okay.
winter, but we
Yeah.
can certainly provide a list if we were lucky enough to win this grant before going ahead or ordering the council to see.
Well, those are two good concerns, the pollinators and the native trees, those are great. So how are the, young trees are very vulnerable. How small or how big are these trees and how will they be maintained? Are they going to be like little guys or?
No, the trees that we would be planting are probably going to be 6 to 8 feet tall. So, 1 inch diameter, at kind of chest height. That's kind of standard size. So they'll be pretty analogous to ones that we've been planting in boulevards, and also sort of in the parks last year.
Okay, good.
Other questions?
We need them.
John, I want to say thanks for all your efforts with these various grants that you're seeking out for the city.
Good job.
We have a motion? All
There's a
those-
motion.
There is a motion, yes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries.
Item 7.1 is council concerns.
We'll start with Al tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. I had the opportunity to visit with a former Winonan who grew up in Winona and around high school, left for California and married and ended up with a residence and family in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. And she and her husband were very active in the community. In fact, she was the downtown Main Street coordinator for Steamboat Springs before she retired. And they were back in Winona about now 2 weeks ago. Her name is Tracy Allen Barnett. Tracy Allen is the daughter of Ed Allen, who started the cable TV business in Winona many years ago. But she and her husband came back because they are on a tour of the area and wanted to see what her hometown looked like. And I thought I'd share with you, once I can pull this up here, her comments after she was here 2 weeks ago. Our tour of Winona was terrific. Went to the farmer's market and spent a fortune. Loved the improvements to the levee. Overall, there is a whole new vibrancy to downtown, parentheses, and the whole town, close parentheses, that I didn't sense 2 years ago. Whatever you are doing, do more of it. There is a new energy that is palpable. And she ends her comment with, yay! So I thought I'd pass that along tonight, just to tell everybody that, I think from her perspective as an outsider and someone who is involved in these kinds of dynamics, we're doing the right thing moving forward. So I just thought I'd share that. I also had a constituent contact me who was concerned about a parking spot near the old YWCA that has a handicapped space designation for it. And her question was, is that really necessary? And there's an issue really in that whole area with parking for, folks that work in the downtown area. And finally tonight, I have the great honor of wishing my youngest grandson, Caden, a happy 9th birthday tomorrow. That's all I have.
Okay. Jerry?
Well, he did a nice segue into the youth when you're talking about Caden. We all too often hear about the youth, and it is sometimes causing a concern, but I think mostly it's the media and social media are the ones that only show the bad, and we all know that there's a lot of excellent youth out there. Saturday, I had the opportunity, I actually had the pleasure to teach one of the classes for the Scout Expo, the Merit Badge Expo that was out at the campus of Southeast Technical. Place was packed. I don't know how many scouts were there, but it was just something to see how they started out with a pledge and then their own pledge and the oath and et cetera, and then they went to all these different classes. The class that I taught was on national citizenship. They had to do a couple of weeks of work prior to the 4-hour class that I had to teach, or got to teach. These young scouts know more about our Constitution and our legislative bodies than, well, actually, a lot of people in Washington should probably learn a lot from these scouts. So it was really the type of recharging this old guy needed about some of the youth. It was really something, and that's just scouts. I know there's other groups out there, but it was really, really rewarding, and we owe a lot to all the adults that are leading all of these youth groups, whatever it is around town, around the United States. So anyway, that's enough.
Michelle? Pam?
Nothing for me tonight, thank you.
Paul?
Two things. I had the pleasure for the first time of being able to participate in the boats and bluegrass. In other words, I think if you're a spectator, you're a participant. And it was chilly, like totally the opposite of what I heard it was last year. And it was a gas. Totally impressed. Congratulations to the organizers. And I hope they had a successful weekend. And I just want to let the community know that there will be 2 homes on the National Solar Home Tour this coming weekend. Myself at 480 West Burns Valley Road, and Tim Goulden will be having his home on the tour up on Ridgewood Drive up in Garvin Heights. And so those of you who would like to see what happens at a solar home and some of the things we're doing, you're welcome to come out and have a look.
What are the hours?
9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday,
This Saturday.
this Saturday.
Mr. Mayor?
Yeah.
You being the, one of the main historians for the entire county, just like to point out a possible piece of history that just took place. Been sitting here for 32 years, a lot of things were described. I do believe that was the first time somebody used, "It's a gas." Might have to put that somewhere over at the Historical Society.
Did I age myself by saying that?
No,
A little bit.
it was fine.
Paul is a Rolling Stone fan. One of their songs they have in there.
It's a gas, yes.
Anything else?
No, that's
Okay,
it.
George?
Okay, thank you. This Sunday is the Polish Apple Festival, Tasty Apple, down at the Polish Museum and its annex.
Can you say that in Polish for us, George?
Samaszki Jabłka.
All right.
Getting closer. Anyway, it's this Sunday from 11 to 4. There'll be beverages and food, and it's a good turnout, and hopefully we have good weather. Also, I would like to congratulate Tom Wynn. He was awarded the Heritage Award from Winona State University, and with that award comes he will be Grand Marshal in this Saturday's Winona State University Homecoming Parade. And also congratulations to Dr. Tom and Leon Mashesky on their 48th wedding anniversary. And happy birthday to Art Eldstead. And on a sad note, condolences to the Steve Blue family on the passing of Steve's mother. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next item?
The consent agenda, there are 3 items. The approval of the minutes from September 17th, the final adoption of an ordinance to increase the salaries for mayor and council, and a claim against the city by Robert Johnskard.
Move to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Motion by Al and seconded by Michelle.
Mayor,
George?
could I pull item 8.2 for a separate vote?
Sure.
Okay.
We'll vote on 8.1 and 8.3. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. 8.2. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Separate?
Second.
Michelle? Paul? Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
6-1.
Mayor, I move we adjourn.
Second?
I second that.
Okay, good. All right, there's a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned.